Hello, and welcome to Strange Life. Have you ever come across a person who just doesn't seem natural? As in, not quite human? Personally, I haven't. Although that's not to say I haven't come across some pretty strange people. But they were just weirdos. There have been quite a few stories reported though, about seemingly unnatural humans walking among us. Most of these stories involve those creepy men in black, but sometimes these unnatural looking people are seen in the general population, trying hopelessly to blend in. The instinctive conclusion is that these people are aliens from another planet, or maybe alien hybrids. But modern culture has molded our thinking in this way. Who knows what their true origin is?
In the early summer of 2001, the exact month and day cannot be recalled, two men had an anomalous encounter with a group of plastic doll-looking soldiers off an Interstate 8 gas and convenience store. The duration of this encounter spanned approximately 30 minutes. Witness 1 stated that during a routine trip home to San Diego, back from visiting his mother in Arizona, he and his friend, Witness 2, stopped to get some snacks and drinks during the hot daytime trip. Witness 1 went into the store and Witness 2 stayed outside at the pump area. As Witness 1 walked towards the store entrance, he noted with interest that there were several camouflage-painted Humvees and two troop carriers. Witness 1's father and grandfather were both Army officers. His brother was currently in the Army, and Witness 1 was at the time considering an Army career. He was excited and interested in looking at the soldiers' patches to determine what service and unit they belonged to. He grew up on Fort Carson in Colorado, and is very knowledgeable of military garb and familiar with military norms. Once inside the convenience store, he looked closely at the soldiers' uniforms to determine the service, but there was no patch showing service affiliation. Neither were there unit patches on their fatigues. Additionally, he found it odd at the time that the military vehicles and the soldiers' camis were woodland type, not desert camis, which were more common during and following the Gulf War Desert Storm in 1991. By 2001, the Army combat uniform and battle dress uniform were more commonly worn. Once Witness 1 got his snacks and drinks, he got into line and stood very close to the back of one of the soldiers. At this point, he noticed that all 9 soldiers in line were the exact same build and height. Then he noticed the back of the neck of the soldier closest to him. He related that the skin looked fake and plastic, like his daughter's Barbie doll skin. At this point, he looked down the line and saw they all appeared to have that type of skin. Quote, 0 skin pores, 0 hair, and their skin looked fake, end quote. He also noted that it was very hot, maybe close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And the soldiers' uniforms were all long-sleeved and buttoned at the wrist. Their skin was not sweating or even glistening from the heat. Quote, their skin was like a weird rubber, end quote. And he has never seen anything like it before or since. Concerned, he decided to go to the front of this line, to where the soldiers were buying each a gallon of water and walking out. His pretense was to get some gum at the front counter. As he walked back from the front, he took careful note of the soldiers' faces, even though they were all wearing caps pulled down close over their eyes, and he could not see their eyes. He nonetheless saw that they were all exactly alike, as if, quote, they were the same person, end quote. Additionally, these soldiers seemed like, quote, living dolls that were all in pause mode, end quote, until they stepped forward to pay at the counter for their water. Witness 1 stated that it was as if he was watching the exact same action and motion from these soldiers, all moving and acting the exact same way, one after the other. The clerk at the counter was not looking up, just taking the money and putting it in the cash register, then giving change. Witness 1 became very afraid and felt these soldiers were, quote, not human. He put his groceries down and quickly walked out to his friend to see if he would go into the store. Witness 1 did not tell Witness 2 what to look for, only to be observant and see if he noticed if, quote, anything was wrong. Witness 2 went in and began looking around. He quickly noticed the soldiers and felt Witness 1 must be referring to them. Witness 2 noted as well that all the soldiers looked identical. He stated, quote, they were the exact same person. He noted that they looked like they might be wearing masks to account for the exact matching appearance and odd skin tone and texture. He quickly departed the building and hurried back to the car saying to Witness 1, quote, are they even human? Both stayed at their car and watched the soldiers enter the military vehicles and drive off. Witness 1 and 2 then followed in their car, getting immediately onto Interstate 8, which happened to parallel the dirt road that the troop movement was on. After following parallel for 4 or 5 miles, Witness 1 stated, and Witness 2 confirmed, that, quote, we saw these vehicles just drive right into this mountain and disappear, almost like into a hologram or something, end quote. Neither could see a hole or tunnel or any entrance point into the mountain. They pulled over and stopped their car, trying to determine what had happened, and talked between themselves, confirming what they had just observed. Both Witness 1 and 2 said the vehicles just disappeared in front of their eyes.
In 1977, my family and I were living on a small holding next to Beckles Common in Suffolk. One bright sunny morning in February or March, I heard my twin daughters, Wanda and Rosemary, aged 3.5, crying and calling me. They had been playing outside near the stable block. As I rushed out of the back porch door, one of the twins ran towards the house in a very disturbed state. "Mummy, Mummy, we've just seen a man jump from an aeroplane. Where is he?" "Walking up our drive." By now her sister had also reached me, and both were crying as I bustled them through the house. The other twin told the same story as her sister, adding that the man frightened her very much, and that he was tall, with yellow hair. I washed their faces, and when they had calmed down, I questioned them again. They couldn't give a satisfactory description of the aeroplane, except to say that it was wide. It must have been very quiet, otherwise I would have heard it. Just then, I heard the grating sound made by our side gate, when it is either being opened or shut. I ran out to investigate, but there was no one visible. I looked right around the house, and even glanced into the cattle barns, but there was no one there. A few days later, we went shopping in town. I took the pushchair, as it was a long way for the twins to walk, so if they felt tired they could have a ride. On the way back, we came through the little iron gate leading from the avenue, and I glanced up the path to our house in the distance. It was unusually quiet, and there weren't even any golfers, though most mornings 1 or 2 were playing, as part of the common was used as a golf course. We crossed over the path leading to the golf house, and started walking across the grass to join the track leading home. When I looked up the path again, I saw a man about 800 yards away, behaving oddly. He was flopping about, and then he straightened up and started walking towards us. I noticed what looked like a long streak of lightning in the sky above, at the point where he had been flailing about. This quickly disappeared, and then I saw a little white circle, perfectly round, which moved very fast and was soon out of sight. The twins seemed full of energy and were running ahead, but as the strange man approached, they turned tail and scampered back to me and got into the pushchair. "That's the man in the aeroplane," they exclaimed. He was over 6 feet tall and dressed in blue-grey protective clothing, like a boiler suit, tied at the ankles and wrists, and apparently of a lightweight material, like nylon. His boots seemed to be made from the same material, and he had grey gauntlet gloves. He had earphones on, and as we drew level, I could hear a sound similar to white noise from an untuned radio. Then I heard quite a loud foreign voice coming through the static. But the strangest feature of all was his pinky red eyes. He was staring into the middle distance all the time and didn't look our way once. After he passed, I turned round for another look and noticed his magnificent shoulder-length hair, which shone a fantastic golden red in the morning sunlight. We had now reached the top end of the track, roughly the spot where I had seen the man flailing about. To our right, a herd of cows appeared to be going berserk, running around and round the field in a most disturbed fashion. I looked back again and found that the man had vanished. There were only a few sparse bushes, so where had he gone? I turned the pushchair around and retraced our steps all the way down to the car park, but there was no sign of the man anywhere. A few days later, the twins and I were collecting firewood on the common. I glanced towards a golf green and saw what appeared to be a very small, dark grey caravan standing on two little legs. It was egg-shaped and had one wide window in the front, as far as I could tell. And the land at that spot was very marshy, which would have made it extremely difficult to drive across, and I couldn't see any tracks. The twins caught up with me and pulled my arm, saying, "There's the aeroplane, Mum." I told them that it was a caravan, but they insisted that it was the aeroplane they had seen earlier. Surprisingly, they wanted to go and have a closer look, but I dissuaded them, as it was very muddy where the caravan was standing. We came to a small wooded area, and through the trees I saw a very tall man, dressed in a similar fashion to the one we had seen a few days earlier. I couldn't see his face, as he was turned away from us. Although it was a bright morning, it was rather dark among the trees, and he was in shadow.